Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And if you're feeling charitable, by the way, you can smash the subscribe button and the like button and follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Shout out to Subjective Reviews for subscribing to this channel. Your support is very valuable. You are very appreciated. I think you're a cool guy. And thank you for joining Big Mouth on today's DCEU Daily. And welcome to Wednesday's edition of the DCEU Daily. And on today's show, we've got lots to talk about. And I've even had to write it down because sometimes I say I'm going to talk about stuff, then I forget about it, then I have to do a DCEU extra. And my internet is so bad, I want to get this done in one show where we can just sit down, you stuff your faces with popcorn, and we can really talk about the big issues affecting not just the DCEU community, but the outer movie-going community as a whole. So today we are going to be talking about RT Snydercut's new incentive and rules for doing events on social media, something I'm going to take a big issue with and I don't agree with. 2, AMC versus Universal, it's all kicked off against this cinema chain and this studio, and it's actually quite funny. It's basically kind of movie theatres versus streaming, really, isn't it? And this was always going to rear its ugly head, and it has, ever since the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, I'm going to tell you the story I came up with, the story I dreamt about. And it's got a great moral, it's got a kind, ambivalent kind of moral, this story. Nothing to do with DC or anything, but I thought you might be interested in it. So, first of all, we are going to read out for Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. This is RT Snyder cut, right? Twitter events. So, let's give this a read. Firstly, let us take this opportunity to thank you for the welcome back to the timeline. We are all grateful. Your words of kindness and support. We appreciate each and every one of you. We have also been very impressed with the work you all have done in helping keep morale high in the movement, especially the latest Twitter event hosted by Alessandro and Jessex, which amassed over 6K or 60K, I don't know, tweets, with the movement's hashtag Release the Snyder Cut. This brings us nicely to the reason for this statement, which we both understand and accept that not everyone will be in agreement. We should start out by being explicitly clear that this is no way us telling anyone what you can and cannot do. Everyone is and always has been free to support Zack in any way they please. We know that. The decision we have collectively made is that going forward, at RT Snyder Cut account, we actively promote and support no more than 3 pre-planned Twitter trending events per year. That's the thing I have an issue with. One of which will, of course, be on November 17th. As far as the other 2 go, we are happy to have an open and clear dialogue with the community and perhaps put a few dates to a poll so that you can be active participants in the decision-making process. This community is full of really passionate people like ourselves who want to contribute to the cause in every moment they can. They couldn't have had the success we have had so far without it. However, it's always however, isn't it? We believe that with a combination of a variety of different unique online and offline events that don't rely on merely getting a trend, we can be more effective with our goal. Events such as the plane banner, the Times Square and soccer game billboards, the ZSJL fan poster competition, the Arts Festival charity drive, the meme competition, the letters to WB executives, organised phone call campaigns, the charity retweet challenge to Subway, and all our attendances at Comic-Cons and all over the world is an indication of what we can achieve without becoming a state. Here are the specific reasons we will be limiting our active participatory support of these Twitter trend events. Maintaining energy and sustainability. Since last November, we have had many members of the community contact us expressing frustration. People have stressed that while they are burnt out and don't have the energy to participate in day-long Twitter events. Can I just say something about this? This is just ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. If you can't be involved all day, I can't be involved all day. I've got a disabled father to look after, but I tweet as much as I can, and that's fine. I'm not burnt out. This is absolutely ridiculous, but we'll get into this. I respect and admire RT Snyder Cut. Let's get that clear. They brought us all together. But at the end of the day, this is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. Anyway, so other way, they feel pressure. They feel peer pressured into doing so, especially if it comes from our centre hub. Yeah, this is the society we live in. Peer pressured. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you can't do it, don't do it. No one's going to disrespect you. We understand. Hashtag it once if you're passionate enough about the movement. Oftentimes, these events happen at weekends or on holidays, which often leaves members of our community choosing between their friends and families and supporting a cause which they believe in. We accept that not everyone will feel this way, but we also have to accept that some people do. We also have the enormous contingent of more casual supporters and others who are sympathetic to our cause. They are more likely to participate if they feel like their contribution matters. If they feel like the event in which they participate is special. If they feel like they are making a difference having such a large volume of events. Reduces their participating to almost zero. This is shown by their active participation on November the 17th. No, it doesn't. Compared to the many events since. We need them. We are all in this together. So it is important that we find a happy medium. Putting the unity of the movement first, we have noticed that an element of tribalism is coming into play. One of these elements is a stigma associated with what hashtag to use. Oh my God. This is the kind of loony, crazy, snowflake kind of era and generation we live in, with demands of why one hashtag is used and not the other. This is not an issue. This is not an issue. People are using the hashtag they want. Sometimes they're using Zack Snyder's Justice League and release the Snyder Cut. This is not an issue, but to snowflake people, this is an issue. This is the problem. This is when things get spoiled and they're no fun. Do you know what I mean? Because it is fun to support Zack. It is fun to do these things, right? Right. We have also noticed that this leads to events being weaponized. Who is tweeting during one person's event versus who is tweeting during another. This has two effects. We end up with more events, and each of these events end up being significantly smaller than what they could otherwise be. Burnout and discord instead of strength and unity. Right, RT Snyder Cut. This movement has discord. All movements, all fandoms have discord and arguments. Listen, snowflakes, you can't live in a metropolis of peace and tranquility. People are going to get upset with each other. I grew up with a brother. We beat 10 tons of crap out of each other. I still love him. I still love him, right? I do, John. I love you. But at the end of the day, this is the problem. Look, this has actually triggered me. Again, I respect RT Snyder Cut, but I strongly disagree with this. Strongly. And they're only going to make themselves more irrelevant by this course of action. Increasing effectiveness of online events. There appears to be a misunderstanding from some as to what trending means. On Twitter, a trend relates to the rate of tweets and not the number of tweets. What does this mean? It means that hashtag can trend with as little as 2,000 tweets if those tweets are made in short periods of time. And another hashtag with 50,000 tweets over a longer period might not trend at all. Twitter's trending for you. Feature often shows our hashtags as trending. However, the outside world, beyond our community bubble, will never actually see it trending. Right, again, let's get one thing straight here. Mostly, the outer community doesn't see it. Really, the only time it's been that successful is November the 17th, right? But people know we're there. People who follow us are seeing it. So that's actually not true. What made November the 17th successful was our ability to trend. So those outside of our community who don't tweet about the Snyder Cut as frequently as we do could see our hashtag. You will recall in that week running up to November 17th that we also did a series of 1 hour events. Per day, in some of those 1 hour periods, we amassed less than 40 or 50k tweets. But because all of those tweets were quashed in a 1 hour period, the tweet rate was high. We trended worldwide on each of those occasions, and not just in the trending for you section. We should want to be more than an echo chamber. Right. First of all, right, we are an echo chamber. That's what a group, that's what fandoms, so we're always going to be an echo chamber, right? And the only reason November the 17th was successful because Zack Snyder was heavily involved. He was tweeting. So was Gal Gadot, released the Snyder Cut. So was Ben Affleck. Those two actors tweeting is the only reason we trended so high. And it had nothing to do with burnout, and it had nothing to do with a one-off event. So I do respect your knowledge about trends, and I don't have that knowledge, RT Snyder Cut. I strongly disagree with you. Strongly. We have to ask ourselves the very important questions of why we are here and why we do these events. Are they for fun? Are they to try and convince WB to release the Snyder Cut? First, right. This is why I'm going to take issue with this. I've just said, I have fun doing this. I'm with people I don't know in the real world, but we're after the same thing. We love the same films. We talk about them. We give our favourite scenes. So getting this film released can also be fun, right? RT Snyder Cut, a beginning. This is what happens when successful people... I always go on about elitists. RT Snyder Cut have become elitist, right? If our goal is to make WB know about us, they do know about us. They have to see us. They do see us. If we want them to see us, our trends have to be seen. If we are to be seen, we have to work as a cohesive unit. No tribes, no guilt, no tribes, no burnout. Right. Again, there is no burnout. There is no burnout. No one's burnt out. We may lose some faith when a blogger says lies about it not happening, but we are not burnt out. The passion for Zack Snyder and these two movies he did, and this third movie we desperately want to see, there is absolutely no burnout. As I say, they're becoming elitist, and one of the things I don't like about people is taking yourself too seriously. Think of your favourite food. We have an analogy here now. Now imagining being forced to eat it every single day or month. The next day, are you going to want to eat it again? Yes. Actually, right, I have something called halva, which is a Cypriot delicacy. I have one piece of toast, and I have that every day. Then, when I get my dad out of bed and we sit there together, I have peanut butter and honey every day on 2 pieces of toast as a little second breakfast, right, to get my energy for these videos, right? I'm still not bored of them. So thanks for the analogy, but it doesn't work. We didn't trend worldwide last year and make newspaper headlines because we did a trending event every few weeks. Yeah, sorry, right? While you were away, RT Snyder Cut, and I think you did this on purpose. You went away on purpose. Now, I don't know who you are or what's going on here, right? But this is very nefarious, right? We had a couple of events, right? And also, they didn't mention the Zack Snyder's Justice League hashtag event, which was also very successful. And wasn't it HBO Max's Twitter account that liked something or something like that? So they do know we're here, even without you. This is a shame, RT Snyder Cut, that you're going down this direction. This is a direction which means you are going to be forgotten very, very quickly because we're passionate, right? So I don't think I have the pull or the subscribers to organise events and get them done. But I certainly think we shouldn't have events every week or every day. I mean, people hashtag release the Snyder Cut in their thousands every day anyway. So that actually exposes what they're already saying. We made headlines because the few trends we did partaking in were huge. To put that into context, there have already been more trend events in the first 4 months of this year than in the first 11 months of last year. And none of them have yet to make headlines in the mainstream. Well, that's not extremely true. The mainstream are talking about the Snyder Cut. They know they're happening all the time. What you're telling us is to stay quiet for most of the year. And I'm sorry, RT Snyder Cut, as much as I respect what you've done and try to unify the fan base, I strongly disagree. Non-comic book movie related media. This isn't to belittle the efforts and passion of the community. Well, it's coming across that way. But sometimes we need to take a step back and reassess what we want to achieve. Are we here for fun or are we here to win? We believe that the community is a community of winners, right? Listen to me. Listen to me, RT Snyder Cut. Right, listen to me, RT Snyder Cut, and listen to me, everyone, because this is very important. We are here to get the cut released, but we're also here as a family to have fun, right? Imagine now a global pandemic. Some people are locked in. Our fan base is locked in on their own, maybe lonely, suffering with mental health issues. We need each other. So to say to keep quiet for most of the year is an outrageous thing. Yes, we are partly here for fun, and we are almost certainly here to get the Snyder Cut released. Both are not non-exclusive, right? We can do both, right? Already in the first few days of our return, some of the fans have proposed some excellent event ideas for the community to get behind that we are extremely excited to support. Without going into spoiler territory, these fan-owned events include an AFSP charity event with an element of photography, an idea to increase our YouTube presence by hosting roundtable events with a rotating cast of community members. Yeah, it won't be little YouTubers like me though, will it? It'll be your big boys. It'll be the ones with at least 100k subscribers, right? Again, elitism. That round table is going to exclude you, and it's going to exclude me. Here it goes. It begins, right? I'm very good at seeing through things and seeing through people, and it's like the Snyder Cut book. I saw through that straight away. I knew why he joined the community, that guy. And I forgot his name now. Cinema Blend guy, right? Because he's trying to make a career for himself and make money. And that's it. And again, I'm seeing through this. And the Snyder Cut Challenge, all are currently in their infancy. But with the passion and help of this community, we have no doubts that they will all be successful. And while we did mention that we will limit our pre-planned Twitter events to 3 per year, that doesn't mean we won't actively partake in impromptu Twitter trend attempts. So you're either having 3 events or you're not. You're starting to confuse me. If the occasion calls for it, for example, if there's a major piece of news that we should capitalise on, we will still also use Twitter to increase our exposure on a daily basis by counting to remind Warner Brothers related accounts that we want them to release the Snyder Cut. A highly effective tactic that has shown results. We made mainstream media headlines with this tactic when Ann Sarnoff was announced as WB CEO last year. So there is plenty to keep us participating towards the active pursuit of our goal. Finally, we are aware that 2 events for the coming weeks have been planned by fans before this announcement was provided. Therefore, we believe it is only fair that as a result we partake in some of the form of promotion if requested by event organisers in the run-up. Though we will limit our active participation to the events agreed upon by the community. As mentioned earlier, this doesn't mean we are trying to stop people from doing more Twitter events in the future. Everyone is, of course, free to support Zach. However they please, we are just providing some clarity on why we will limit active participation in these areas in the future. And we believe if you trust us on this, we can eventually make our hashtag hit 1 million and trend worldwide. Woo! I'm a bit pissed off. Right. I understand. I get it. They get the trends. And they think he's talking about 1 million, or he or she or whoever is talking about 1 million worldwide. It's great to be ambitious, right? But we are a community. We are a democracy, and we are not a dictatorship, right? I know they've said you can do what you want. It's not up to us, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about only having 3 events. The social media events, the Twitter hashtag events, are the only way a global fandom can come together. It is very difficult. It's basically what happens with the art competitions and banner competitions. It's normally, mainly, the American fans that get involved, right? How do you do it? How do I send it? What do I do? You know, right? If you've got the tech, you can do it. Some of us don't. But a Twitter hashtag event is easy. All I have to do is hashtag, put up a GIF, put up my point of view, and it's done. And I've done something, and I've contributed towards the movement. These other kind of events are great, but these are events they can organise themselves and raise the funds via us. That's different. That's fine. Do that. But to say we're only going to have 3 main events a year, and their evidence for this is November the 17th, because of a couple of elite actors from the franchise actually tweeted, and that's the only reason it got so big. So the evidence they're using is flawed. I'll be clear again. I respect them. But this is what they're going to do. They're going to be quickly forgotten. And they're going to realise really quickly that fans are going to organise multiple events, right? My suggestion is that we do events every 3 months. I like that idea, right? So what's that, 4 or 5 events a year, or every 2 months, or whatever, right? Even if you did 1 event a month, it's not too much, right? One event a month. Think of that. That's not too much. And as I say, we're all kind of, excuse me, hashtagging release the Snyder Cut daily on an hourly basis, on a half an hour basis. Some people are that deep into it, right? So you're not stopping anything. It's still an event, right? How far is it going to go? Are they going to say, don't tweet unless there's an event? Don't tweet the hashtag. How far are we going to go here? We may never reach 1 million worldwide, right? A trend. Never. They're talking about, is this fun or do we want to release it? I've said already, we can have fun and we can fight. But this, I'm sorry, I'm rejecting this. I will always be involved in all the events and I'll promote them here on Big Mouth on the dceu Daily. But I don't agree with this. I think it's wrong. And I think RT Snyder Cut have become elitist and taking themselves too seriously. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But that, my friends, is how I feel. Right, next. Today, AMC versus Universal. Wow, what a shitstorm this is turning out to be. Right, so is it... yeah, right. So Universal released Trolls Worldwide, or whatever it's called, right, on VOD, on video on demand. It made record-breaking money. So they started showing off about it. Now, AMC cinemas, theatres, movie theatres around America have banned any Universal movie showing in their theatres because they did this. A, they made money. B, they bragged about it without using a cinema, right? Why have AMC done this? Because they are intimidated and they are scared. So they are trying to intimidate studios into saying, stop releasing on VOD early. Don't brag about it. Don't advertise the fact you were successful with it. Because this is what happens with elitism. As I've already said with RT Snyder Cut, people get afraid of losing their power. I've told you before, the movie theatre is dead. It's a dinosaur. It's a dying breed. And a dying breed will keep on moving anxiously and kicking, won't it? When you hang someone, they're still kicking a little bit, aren't they? That little bit of life, that little bit of fight. But the movie theatre is dead. I've explained to you before, I don't really care about the movie theatre experience. I'm quite happy to watch my films here. In fact, it's more convenient for me. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. So basically AMC theatres flexing their muscles and saying we ain't showing a Universal film is biting your nose off to spite your face, right? Why is that? Because now Universal carte blanche are going to release more films on VOD, video on demand. They're going to make much more money. Universal are already on a crest of a wave because of what they did with listening to the fans with Sonic. So there's a lot of respect out there for them. There's a feel good. And Universal, under Comcast, are going from strength to strength. They can really be the next studio to compete against Disney. Because Warner Brothers are losing that race already, right? They've got lots of issues at Warner Brothers. AT&T is a big problem. I never thought it was, but I'm starting to think that AT&T are a bit of a problem. And Stanky being in charge of AT&T and Sarnoff being in charge of Warner Brothers and one mouth not knowing what the other mouth's about to say, big problem. We saw an example of it last week. Again, the same argument. VOD versus the movie theatre, right? The movie theatre is dead. This was going to happen in 10, 15, 20 years' time, but the global pandemic has pushed that dinosaur to die sooner. It is an outdated model, and AMC know this, and they're fighting for their very lives. But this course of action to try and intimidate the whole industry into not releasing so much on VOD during the pandemic and not to brag when it does well is going to backfire big time. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. That's my opinion and view on that. So I've got very strong opinions today. So I expect to get lots of thumbs down and lots of snowflakes unsubscribing. I don't care. My opinion, Big Mouth. You know, the name on the door is Big Mouth, right? When you come into this channel, it's Big Mouth. So I'm going to say what I want to say. End of story. Right, so what's next? Where are we? Right, yes. Now, yesterday, a really nice Zack Snyder DCEU fan, I forgot who he was, did a little article or shared an article about us finally pushing Warner Brothers to put together both Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice as one film. I like this idea. I think, unlike the Snyder Cut, this is something that Warner Brothers would happily agree to, especially if we show them the maths, because they're going to sell extra units by doing this. And I think that's the good thing about it. I think that's what I like about this. It's easy. They know they just have to put two films together, and that's it. It's not difficult, is it? Let's get one thing clear. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice are already one film. It's obvious. One continues seamlessly after the other, right? It is one film. And you'd be talking about, what, 5.5 hour movie? I don't know if I could sit there and watch a 5.5 hour movie, but I want it in my possession and I want to attempt to do that. That would be amazing. Now, this is not groundbreaking, of course, because the DC animated universe have done the same thing, because we had the Death of Superman animated movies. They were in two parts. I forgot what they were both called now. I think one was the Death of Superman. I forgot what the other one was called. Anyway, I bought a version where they put both of these films together. I think it's over 3 hours or something. It's pretty epic. So it works. So Warner Brothers already have a history of doing this. Now, I want comments down below about this, not necessarily about uniting the movies, because I think that's obvious. I don't think anyone's going to disagree. You've still got the movies separately. You've just got another option. It is one movie, and I think that would be awesome just to see it together. That's another experience. Now, according to this article, this is something that Zack Snyder really wants as well. He sees them as one movie as well, and I totally agree with Zack on this. But this is the thing. I want your comments, serious comments. Don't ignore me. When I ask you to comment, please comment down below. It's important. I want to know what you think. I'm not like the other YouTubers who don't care. Right. What would you call a Man of Steel movie, a Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice combined together? That is a whole film. What would you call it, right? So basically, you could just call it Batman versus Superman, right? The problem is Man of Steel hasn't got any Batman in it, right? So what would you call it? The DCEU origin? It's all right, but it doesn't have any fire to it, does it? So I want you to comment down below and let me know what you think. Superman Begins. Now that doesn't have Batman in it, but it's pretty awesome. Superman Begins, because this two-part story is about the beginning of Superman and how he integrates with mankind. Or Superman and Batman Begins, but you can't do that because Batman's been around for so many years. Anyway, comment down below and let me know what you think about that. But definitely, it's something I would love to happen. That's something positive I can't disagree with. Awesome. Take my money now. I would love to see it happen, because Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, as I've already said, are one film. And the themes from both movies interlink and interlock together. So it will be an awesome thing, and I'd really enjoy that. And finally today, I'm going to give you my short story. It's not written down or anything. Right. So I want to tell you the story of Ellie. So once upon a time, there was a young woman, Ellie. She lived in an apartment in Manhattan, all on her own. One day she got dressed, she put her makeup on, her perfume on, handbag, ready to go out. All of a sudden, everyone who saw her started screaming and pointing at her. Troll, monster, gremlin, you've got two heads. This, of course, shocked Ellie, shocked her to her very core. She goes, I better run back in and see what's going on. She ran into her apartment, she looked into the mirror, but all she could see was her normal, beautiful, plain face and head. Just one. This went on for 4 or 5 days. Troll, monster, you've got two heads. Even the police were too afraid to approach her. But one day Ellie had enough of being secluded at home and being locked down. She put the most beautiful dress on, put her makeup on, and she went into a nightclub. It happened again. Troll, monster, you've got two heads. They all ran out. Apart from one young man. She looked at him and said, "Do you have two heads?" He goes, "Yes, but they're both beautiful." And he kissed both her lips. And they lived happily ever after. You see, Ellie's story, this dream I had last night, has a moral. It doesn't matter how many heads they say you have. It doesn't matter how many times they say you're a monster. Someone is going to see the real you. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more. Don't go. I forgot one thing. I have actually ranked the DCEU standalone movies. I can't believe I nearly forgot that. That would have. Do you know what? That would have really annoyed me now. I mean, I haven't stopped for breath. My throat's killing me. When I stop this video, I'm just going to be coughing for the next half an hour, but who cares? I have a problem with my kidneys. The kidneys don't work properly, basically, so everything gets blocked up in my lungs. Yeah. So I do have a bit of a problem. So when I talk, I get really, really tight. But I don't care. This is for the DCEU and my friends and my subscribers. So we're staying on. Right. So this is my ranking of the DCEU origin movies. So Shazam is fourth. Aquaman is third. Wonder Woman is second. And, of course, Man of Steel is number one, because Man of Steel is the best. So then when we look at ranking the DCEU superheroes, again, it's easy for me. So, although I have to change it. I have to change it a bit, right? Because I forgot about Batman. So we have to put Batman in there. So I'd say, basically, I'm going to go like this. Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Superman's always going to be top. I mean, look at me, for Christ's sake. So that's what I would go with that. Again, comment down below and let me know what you think. But Batman and Superman always going to be in the top. Wonder Woman always going to be third. It's a bit predictable, but that's how I feel about it. And the origin movies, I like Shazam, but it's not my favourite. I love Aquaman. I think that film is amazing. I think the themes, it really relates to me, and me being Greek Cypriot, but born and bred in the UK and never felt like I belonged anywhere. Wonder Woman is just one of the most amazing CBMs ever, and one of the best origin stories, and Man of Steel. Now, I suppose beyond that, my favourite origin movie ever is probably Batman Begins, because of the themes and how amazing that film is, and we see the raw soul of Bruce Wayne and Batman. But it's not part of the DCEU, and that's what we were doing here. Anyway, now we are finished. Now you can go to the loo. Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow and every other day while I'm still breathing for more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.